What's up, Eagles Nation? Get ready, because what I'm about to tell you isn't just a market move. It's about what almost became the return of a Super Bowl hero to the nest. Grab a seat, turn up the volume, and hit that like button if you bleed green and white, because today's news touches our nostalgia and the future of our coaching staff. Fly, Eagles, fly. Can you imagine it? The master and the apprentice, side by side on the Lincoln Financial Field sideline again? Well, family, the bombshell news from the Philadelphia backstage is that Frank Reich, the offensive architect of our unforgettable Super Bowl 52 title, was just one step away, one detail, one locker room conversation, from coming back home. Before accepting the offensive coordinator, OC, job with the New York Jets, Reich and our head coach, Nick Sirianni, had serious talks about a reunion. I'm not talking about a simple "how's it going?" I'm talking about a real plan for Reich to act as a senior advisor, a sort of offensive Yoda to guide Sirianni. Imagine the experience of a guy who has seen it all in the NFL shielding Nick. The news brings that what could have been feeling, that pit in your stomach knowing we were so close to having one of the brightest minds in the franchise's recent history back at the Jefferson Health Training Complex. If you, like me, were shocked by this possibility, comment below. Would #Reich in the nest have made the difference, or is his time over? Let's hype this video because the story goes deep. To understand the weight of this near signing, we have to go back in time. When we talk about Frank Reich in Philly, we aren't talking about just any coach. We are talking about the man who, alongside Doug Peterson, drew up the plan that dismantled Bill Belichick's defense in 2017. Reich is the guy who extracted MVP-level play from Carson Wentz and then made Nick Foles look like a god on the gridiron. He's part of our Mount Rushmore of offensive minds, next to names like Dick Vermeil and Andy Reid. The connection with Nick Sirianni is deep. They worked together in Indy, where Reich was the mentor and Sirianni was his right-hand man. Bringing Reich back wouldn't just be about tactics. It would be about reclaiming the identity of an aggressive, smart, and resilient offense. It would be like seeing Jason Kelce or Brian Dawkins returning to the sideline in a new role. Reich's legacy with the Eagles is eternal, and the fact that he even considered this return shows that the respect for our organization and for the project led by Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman remains intact. The emotional Philly special was almost ready to be snapped. Now, let's hit the playbook, because this is where it gets real. Although we have Sean Mannion as the new OC, a name gaining a lot of respect for his football IQ, Reich's presence would have brought a layer of sophistication that few in the league possess. Reich is a master of the RPO, run-pass option, and knows how to manipulate defenses with formations that freeze opposing linebackers in the red zone. If he had accepted the advisory role, Sirianni would have had a shield against criticism and a veteran second pair of eyes to spot exotic blitzes before they even happened. In Sirianni's scheme, which often focuses on verticality and Jalen Hurts' individual talent, Reich would bring the balance of quick, short reads that made him famous. The locker room impact would be immediate. Players respect the man with the ring. Reich didn't just want to clock in. He wanted to influence, but that competitive fire spoke louder. He didn't want to just watch. He wanted to call the plays, something the Jets' job offered and the advisory role in Philly perhaps wouldn't allow with the same autonomy. The American media, led by names like Dan Pompei from The Athletic, confirmed that the comeback spark is what took Reich to New Jersey. He's still getting paid by the Panthers through 2026, so he didn't need the money, he needed the challenge. In Philly, the feeling is one of massive mutual respect. Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie certainly gave the green light for the talk, showing that bridges were never burned. What to expect now? Well, Reich will try to rebuild the Jets' offense, but the seed was planted. In the NFL, paths cross in mysterious ways. The fact that Sirianni reached out to his mentor shows humility and a desire to evolve. For us fans, the lesson is, the Eagles remain a destination desired by the best. We'll keep an eye on Sean Mannion, but with that thought in the back of our heads, what if the master had returned? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, the respect between Frank Reich and the Philadelphia Eagles transcends the field. Go Birds!